All right, so there are three determinants of short-run aggregate supply. And the first one is the most common, which is input prices. And you also have changes in productivity, particularly in the short term. And then you have legal institutional environment, which is changes in taxes, subsidies, and government regulation of businesses. Now, let's start off with input prices. Input prices are a very common determinant of short-run aggregate supply. So a big part of input prices are going to be domestic resource prices. So wages are a huge example of a domestic resource price. It's about 75% of all business costs. You have the cost of capital, the costs of machines and technology for businesses. And you have raw materials, commodity prices, say the price of oil, for example. So if you have lower domestic resource prices, that's going to mean you're going to have lower input prices, and that's going to mean firms are making more money, more profit. Short aggregate supply is going to shift to the right. And then you have the opposite. If you have higher domestic resource prices, then you have higher input prices. That's going to create less profit for suppliers, and short aggregate supply is going to shift to the left. Now, foreign resource prices are going to also influence input prices. So if you have strong money, you're going to have lower foreign resource prices because your money is strong, so stuff in other countries is going to be less expensive. So you can buy more with your money. The short aggregate supply curve shifts to the right because firms can be more profitable. And if you have weak money, you're going to have higher foreign resource prices. Your money does not buy as much goods in other currencies because you have weak money. That's going to lower profits. Short aggregate supply is going to shift to the left. And you have market power. So monopolies and cartels that control resources control the price of those resources. So a good example of a cartel would be OPEC. OPEC stands for the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, and one of the things they often do is increase or decrease the supply of oil. And that's going to change input prices, particularly the price of raw materials, in which oil would be one of those raw materials. All right, so increase in foreign resource prices, short aggregate supply is going to shift to the left. Decrease in resource prices, short-run aggregate supply is going to shift to the right. Productivity. Particularly short-term productivity is going to change short aggregate supply. So productivity is total output divided by total inputs. So more productivity in the short run is going to lower unit cost of production. Short aggregate supply shifts to the right. Lower productivity is going to create higher unit production costs. Short run aggregate supply is going to shift to the left. And finally, you have the legal institutional environment. So there are various parts of this, this determinant here. So taxes, okay, taxes is when businesses are going to be paying money to the government. So taxes on businesses are going to increase per unit production cost, lower profits, short run aggregate supply shifts to the left. Subsidies are when the government is paying a business to make something. That's going to reduce per unit production cost, more profits, short run aggregate supply shifts to the right. Then you have government regulation. So government regulation is going to create a cost of compliance. That cost is going to cut down on profits, short run aggregate supply shifts to the left. Less regulation means less compliance costs, so short run aggregate supply is going to shift to the right. So think about businesses if they are told For example, they have to follow safety standards. So if they're told by the government that they have to follow safety standards, then they've got to hire a whole bunch of people to teach those safety standards. Businesses have to hire a whole bunch of people to make sure that those standards are followed. All of these are going to create a cost of compliance. And when there's high cost of compliance, that cuts down into profits, and short-run aggregate supply in that case is going to shift to the left. All right, so let's do the assessment. For number one, we're going to describe the determinants of short-run aggregate supply. There are 3 of them. And 2, we're going to graph and explain what would happen to the short-run aggregate supply curve if there is an increase in business taxes, and what is the determinant of short-run aggregate supply that caused this change. So we're just going to go ahead and graph short-run aggregate supply curve, shift the curve the appropriate way, and then tell me the determinant that caused this short-run aggregate supply shift. So one thing I do want you to notice here, in this problem in particular, is that there is an increase in business taxes. So business taxes, when they have an increase in business taxes, that is going to change short-run aggregate supply. If the government is placing taxes on the buying of things, like a sales tax, that is going to change aggregate demand. But in this case, because we're changing business taxes, you have short-run aggregate supply being affected. And then for the summary, in a paragraph, we're going to hit describe what you learned today, and I'll check these tomorrow, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.